Hello and welcome to part 8 of the Gauge 1 LMS carriage build. We're now starting to work in wood now, so the emphasis has changed from the metal working to doing some actual woodworking now. And the first thing I've done is I've made myself a little template just to represent the profile of the carriages. This is actually to scale, and this is actually showing the end of the guards van, the third carriage, which is a guards van. So I've used this as a starting point and just stuck it down on some plastic card, but it makes a good reference point for drawing out the others as well, for drawing them out accurately. I've drawn this one out. I'm going to draw this one out on a thinner piece of plywood. This is a couple of mil thick pieces of ply. The reason being is the finished thing is going to have some holes cut in it, so we don't want a big whacking big thick piece of plywood on the end where these windows are going to show. So the first thing we'll do is draw out the template on this plywood for the end carriage. Let's start by drawing out the end template first. I can just draw around this as a starting point. Let's probably do it that way. Close edge, one less face to cut. So that's the one for the end done. I'm going to do the others slightly thicker. That'll give us just a little bit more meat to stick these onto. When we put the carriage sides on, we're going to need a good face for the carriage sides, for these side panels to fit onto. So we want this as a bit thicker to fit on. So we need a few more of these now. And 6. So we can go ahead and cut these out now. There's what we have. We just got the 5 there, and just the other thinner one drawn out on here as well. Cut out around the carriage end pieces. So there's myself plenty of meat around these to trim off later on. Six end pieces now, all very loosely hacked out. The next thing to do now is to make these as more accurate profile. Hacking out the various pieces, the end pieces for the coach, for the coaches. You can see what I've done now. I've taken one of these and made this, if you like, the master, and drilled 2 holes here, and obviously use this as a master template to drill holes in all the other pieces. And the idea being that what I can now do is put a dowel peg through, which will keep all these perfectly in line when I go through and do the next part, which will be just bringing these down to their final shape, a pair at a time. The pins in position, and locate each one as we come to them. And there we are, all held together now on the pins on these dowels. And not too worried about these, because these will disappear later on, as you will see. But that's ready for the next phase. All I have to do now is just reconfigure the lathe for doing some sanding and profiling. Ready to start doing the profiling now, and You see we've got all these together now on their dowels. And what we're going to do now is just profile around this edge. You can see that's now coming round, and we're actually starting to get the shape of the carriage and profiles there. What I've got to do now is just get this this little bit here straight for the bottom bit. Okay, there we are. That's looking pretty good. All nice and square. A little tiny bit to come off on that face there, I can see. Right, that's looking pretty good, what we wanted. Perfect. Here's our 6 end pieces now, already profiled with the shape that we want. And these will fit on the end of the carriages. One of the things I will need to do is, because we're sticking them right on quite a thin piece here, and that goes on the end, so I'm going to just glue some little supports on here just to give a bit more anchorage when I glue these end pieces on. That's what we're looking to do next. The other thing I've done is I've made some buffer beams. I made 6 buffer beams for the end of the carriages. These are pretty straightforward. Just some brass angle, cut them to length, and drill the holes for the buffers, and also mill a little slot for the coupling hook. And I just put 2 little drill spots, 2 small holes for mounting. And so we've got 6 of these. What I'll do with these next is spray them with primer and then paint them up black.